Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with an AJ Fernandez Connecticut Smokedown, and you're watching Cigars Daily. In this video, we'll take two very different Connecticut blends from AJ Fernandez and go head to head to see which one can really provide better value. But I'll tell you up front, what you're gonna get in this video is my opinion. So if you've had the AJ Fernandez New World Connecticut or the San Latano Connecticut, please drop a comment down below with your opinion of them, because we'll all learn better when we learn together. AJ is one of the most prolific cigar makers of our day. This dude has been making a lot of cigars for a long time, makes more than just about anybody today, and his own catalog of stuff like the New World and San Latano. A lot of this stuff has really come out of what AJ has blended for himself that he's liked over the years, which is kind of cool. You get to smoke some of the blends that have really blown up the skirt of one of today's most popular cigar makers. But the big question for me is, why two Connecticut blends in the same catalog? Like, was one really not enough? Or can these two blends really be that different from each other that they can cover two different segments of the Connecticut cigar world? Today, we're going to jump into these two to see which one is really better than the other and really determine what each of these two sticks has to offer. And so with no further ado, let's jump right in. The first contender in today's Smokedown is the San Latano Connecticut. Not a new stick on the market by any stretch of the imagination. This was originally released in 2010, back before anyone really knew who AJ Fernandez was. But this thing features an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrap relief with Honduran binder and fillers from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. So a four-country blend, which should promise to be pretty interesting in terms of flavor. The size comes in at 5x50 on the Robusto and the price at $7.40. So not really a super economy priced cigar, but also not like way over the top special occasion, sort of a middle of the road price. The big question with this bad boy is, can it produce enough flavor to hold its own as like one of AJ's best cigars, or at least his best Connecticut? And the competition for the San Latano is the much newer New World Connecticut Robusto. This thing has been out just within the last few years, and on paper seems like it's going to be somewhat of a scrapper for this fight. This thing comes out with a Connecticut shade wrapper and a Mexican San Andreas binder underneath. Not all that common like for Connecticut blends. At the same time, it uses Nicaraguan and Brazilian fillers. So definitely like has that spicier, more interesting four-country combination of leaves, but it also comes in at a lower shelf price than the San Latano at just $6.86 a stick for this Robusto size. So this thing, if anything, should be a good fight for the San Latano. The only question is, can it really produce the flavor to overtake its opponent and win the gold? Now you can see that these two Connecticut blends, even though they come from the same blender, the same guy or creative mind, if you will, are very, very different. But we're going to take them now through three different rounds to look at presentation, construction, and flavor to determine which one really has the better value. So with no further ado, let's jump into round one. They say not to judge a book by its cover, but that's what we all pretty much do all the time. And for that reason, presentation plays a huge role in cigars, and we're going to break these down according to the wrapper leaf and the cap on top, visible construction, in addition to the banding on each cigar and which one sort of jumps off the shelf at you more. Starting off up front with that wrapper leaf, which is really critical. It's the thing you can see about a cigar that really shows off the quality. A good wrapper leaf should be very smooth, very even, no nicks or tears in it, not a lot of miscoloring all over it, and both of these cigars really do present a pretty even, like, quality of wrapper leaf. Both of them are rolled very smoothly. The wrapper leaves themselves don't have very many blemishes on them at all. Really, the big differentiator between the two wrapper leaves on these is color. While the New World is definitely that very classic creamy Connecticut color, the kind of thing I expect to see when I'm looking for a Connecticut on the shelf, the San Latano sets itself off in shade just a little bit. It has a little bit more of a reddish hue true to the leaf, which is fascinating and the kind of thing you typically see in sun-grown cigars versus more of these shade-grown ones. For that reason, when it comes to the wrapper leaf, the New World wins out. It just gives you that look and feel of like, hey, I'm going to be creamy and give you what you want if you like mild cigars. Also, when it comes to the cap on both of these, there is just a slight difference here. Both of these carry the same cap construction, but that New World is just a little bit more sloppily put together on this cigar for some reason. When it comes to these two, I got a cleaner presentation of a really nice double cap, and that's why the point for the cap is actually going to the San Latano. And then it comes down to the big thing, the banding. The first thing you're going to see about a cigar before you ever light it up. Now, both of these display two very different types of presentation on the shelf. The New World certainly has got more presentation with a nice bright whitish band with a little bit of gold like foil on it and that big fat white nylon foot band, while the San Latano is a little bit classier and more classic of a presentation. It's got a lot more embossed gold all over the band, and for that reason, it's actually the San Latano that stands out to me better. I really like a classic and classy looking presentation, and for me, the San Latano does that, which makes San Latano the winner when it comes to presentation. And now it's time to look at what makes these sticks tick, and that is construction. Because we're going to talk about flavor in the third round, and that really is, to me, the biggest deal. But you never get to flavor if you don't have excellent construction, and so up front, we can talk about the ash, where you can see already the New World Connecticut has got a leg up, a dog leg to be exact, because this ash is sort of dog leg to the side. But it's still on there as to where the San Latanos fell off just very recently, right before I really sat down to start shooting. And so for that reason, the New World does get the point for that ash. And then it brings it down to the burn. Burn is critical for getting good flavor, and a bad burn can kill a flavor profile. And when it comes to these two, the burn is actually so close, so similar, like I can't even tell the difference. They're really a very even burn, and I haven't had to look at touching either of these up throughout the entire smoke. So I'm actually going to call that a draw between the two and not award a point to either. And so we'll take it into, from a draw on the actual burn into looking at the actual draw. How well do these two sticks draw? How easily can you pull that smoke? And really, this is where these two have done very well. They're both well within the parameters of what you would call a good draw, but there is definitely a difference between them. The San Latano's draw requires a little bit more resistance. It's a little bit tighter, although still a very good draw. I find that with the New World, the draw is actually opened up. It's much looser, and somehow this still seems to be burning a lot cooler while I'm drawing through it. For that reason, when it comes to construction and it comes to the draw, the New World takes the point, and it takes the entire category for construction, just barely edging out over the San Latano. And now it's time for the main event, the real deal Holyfield, and what truly separates all cigars, and that is flavor. It's the thing we all care the most about at the end of the day, and this is what really separates these two cigars the most. For two Connecticut blends, they're very different flavor profiles. We'll kick it off by talking about consistency, which is a measure of like how much flavor do you get right at light up versus having to smoke into the cigar a little bit to actually get more of that flavor. And really, that's where the San Latano has shined. This thing gave so much of the overall profile right at light up. I didn't find myself waiting to taste what it had to offer, which I didn't get with the New World. It took about a half an inch of smoking this thing to really get that whole flavor profile to come to life. And so when it comes to consistency, the San Latano wins out. And then there's wrapper sweetness. This is a huge deal for me. A good cigar wrapper leaf should have an inherent sweetness, not like a sugary sweetness that's added later. And with these two, the New World really showcases wrapper sweetness well, and not just a good wrapper sweetness, but one that's actually balanced with the rest of the flavor profile. And when it comes to the San Latano, that sweetness sits behind all of the flavor notes, the sort of nuts and wood and everything you can taste. There's really flavor, or sweetness rather, is in the background. And so for wrapper sweetness, the New World gets it. And then it comes down to complexity. Each of these two cigars had a pretty nice flavor profile with plenty going on in the flavor. But the thing that separated it was sort of the vividness of flavor notes within. And I'll explain what I mean by that. The San Latano did a great job of showcasing some classic Connecticut notes. There's nuttiness in this flavor and some wood notes in there. And there's a little bit of an almond, like a specific almonds with that nuttiness, but really generic overall flavor notes. While over here with the New World, there is a general nuttiness, but a really nice caramel note, a very nice creamy cedar note in there as well. And I'll say that for this bad boy, the whole flavor profile is actually really creamy overall. And so for that reason, the whole point for flavor goes to the New World Connecticut, making it the winner of this Smokedown. I gotta say, these two Connecticut's kick ass, and each of them respectively offers something a little bit different. This is sort of that more classic Connecticut and what you'll find in most of the world today. Well, this thing really gives you that creamy, smooth, sweet experience, the kind of thing that I love in a very good Connecticut these days. But again, like I said at the beginning, the real deal here, what really matters is what you guys think about these. So I want to encourage you, if you've had either the San Latano Connecticut or the New World Connecticut, please drop a comment down below with what you think about them, because we'll all learn better when we learn together. And please check these out and this video out on cigarsdailyplus.com. We're always working to make it better on Cigars Daily Plus, and you can even find more of this video on that website. And I want to thank all of you for supporting us at Cigars Daily. It means the world to our family here. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.